Hi, everyone. Welcome back to your podcast, our podcast, the Popular Side Podcast. You might notice we're looking a little different today.
Yes, we are.
Yinka and I have been telling you about what we might do. We might be in a live studio together for the first time. This is our 18th episode.
Yeah, 18th.
So I'm in Lagos. We're in Lagos. As always, he's Yinka Yusuf. I'm Akin. And today is a very, very, very special episode.
Yes, it is.
We do have a guest. He is live in studio. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in welcoming a true footballing legend, a man who has not only inspired countless athletes, but also has represented his country with unparalleled distinction. His remarkable career saw him don the jerseys of clubs in Nigeria, in Benin, in Belgium, in the Netherlands, in Portugal, and in Spain, in a senior career that spanned 20 years, showcasing his incredible talent and resilience. His crowning achievements came on the international stage, though, where he was a cornerstone of the Nigerian national team, the Super Eagles, for over 20 years. He had a total of 65 caps for Nigeria, for the Super Eagles. He represented Nigeria at 2 World Cups and 3 African Cup of Nations tournaments. His leadership and skills were instrumental in Nigeria's victory at the 1994 African Cup of Nations and Nigeria's historic performance in the 1994 World Cup. Beyond his on-field exploits, which are immense, he has been an inspiration off the field as well, contributing to the development of sports in Nigeria and supporting young talents through his various initiatives. And we'll get into several of them as well. That was a mouthful. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor and a privilege to introduce to you the myth, the absolute legend, the one and only, Dodo Mayana, Mr. Peter Rufai. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Thanks for making the time.
Thank you very much for gracing our podcast with your excellence. We have a small confession to make.
Yes, we have to do this. Go for it, Yinka. Go for it.
We have to do this.
Okay.
So, like you said, this is our 18th episode of this podcast. In one of the earlier episodes, we did a Nigerian all-time team. And when we've concluded that team, unfortunately, both of us, we had you on the bench. So I said, we should own up and confess before we start this. But to be fair to us, I think we both said in terms of skill sets, in terms of talent, that undoubtedly you are Nigeria's best goalkeeper.
Thank you.
But because of, duration, caps, accolades, we thought someone else ranked higher than you.
You can name the someone else. You can name this. He knows who the someone else is. You can name it.
But pure talent, I don't think I've ever seen a goalkeeper. Not even a goalkeeper, a player. You rank there in terms of style, grace, charisma and everything. So
Calmness.
thank you for gracing our podcast. So we'll just go straight into it.
Okay, that's good.
So early days, let's meet you and let's talk about, you growing up, how you fell in love with football and, how the early days started for Peter Rufai.
Yeah. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure really being here. I love it because it's always brings me back to the memory lane. And each time it brings me back to the memory lane, I always use it as a yardstick in measuring and being able to educate the upcoming ones.
Fantastic.
Yes. It started back in Port Harcourt. As a little kid, I was in school, primary school. I was attending municipal council school in Port Harcourt, Churchill Road. And each time during break period, I have the habit of going to join friends in playing football. So we'll be playing football, and by the time we finish, every break, it's like every break. So I maintained it, and sometimes the money given to me to buy puff-puff, that is this puff-puff, they hawk around the school during the period. So during break, you see kids going to buy 1 or 2 things there. So that money will still be in my pocket. Sometimes I will forget that money is there, that my mom gave me that money. So by the time she will be washing my uniform, she will now say, you didn't use your money. I'll say, no, I forgot. I say,
what are you doing?
Forgot? I say, and you'll be crying that you want something for break time. I'll say I was playing ball. Wow. She said, this ball you are playing, Say one day, she'll just stop there. So I keep doing this from time to time. Till I moved from Municipal Council School to St. John, primary school. There was a kind of separation, division of the school because of a lot of students. So they moved me to that St. John within the same locality. Okay. Within the same locality. So I continued there. So we're having this school match on this very day. And we score, they equalize. They took lead there till the score was 3-1. In fact, as a matter of fact, no, we did not score immediately. They scored first, scored second goal, scored third goal. So we were struggling. So, and as God will have it, we now, got first goal. We got the second goal. We got the third goal. Not quite long as we got the third goal, they scored the fourth goal against us. So the players now looked to the goalkeeper and said, oh boy, stop this thing now, don't let them score us again. So the boy got angry.
And left.
No, he said, if any of you want to keep, come and take the jersey.
Wow.
So he pulled off the jersey and threw it.
Oh, wow.
So I was close to him. I catch the jersey before the jersey dropped on the floor, on the ground. So when I catch the jersey, I now wore the jersey myself, and I entered the goalpost. As I entered the goalpost, their shot was coming. I was stopping with my body, I was stopping with my leg, I was with my head, everything, all parts of my body. Wow. I was stopping the ball. We got equalizer 4-4. And from that 4-4, we won the match at 5-4. Wow. So when we finally won the match, the next match coming up, the whole school said, I'm going to be the goalkeeper. And from there, I started, playing myself as a goalkeeper. If not, I was a midfield player.
That's interesting.
That's interesting.
We actually debated this, right?
Yes.
And this is one of our questions, but I'll just get into it now.
Yes.
So, how in the modern game, goalkeepers have to be able to use their feet.
Exactly.
Right? We've seen some incredibly good goalkeepers pretty much be discarded because they can't use their feet.
Yes.
And we were debating, and we both thought you would absolutely kill it in today's game because you could use your feet. You weren't asked to do it back in the day, but you're athletic, you're tall, you knew how to control. So you were a midfielder before. And do you think you could have played, back then the way goalkeepers are asked to play now? And what adjustments would you have had to make to your game?
Yes, I could have played because FIFA had taught it well to come in with new rules. That if a back pass is given to a goalkeeper in different forms, where a goalkeeper can't pick up the ball and when a goalkeeper cannot pick up the ball anymore with their hand. Yeah. So that making the goalkeeper, be dominant in using his foot, to play. Yeah. Yes, I will be very good in it. Why? Because I am very good in playing with the foot. I am very good in sporting. I am very good when I say sporting. If you want to play a penalty, if you take an angle, you should be able to spot that angle precisely with precision shots and the technique and the body movement, how you want to make that contact on the ball and how you want to deceive the opponent. So I'm very good in it. I remember training or warming up my first choice goalkeeper when I'm not playing. That was in Deportivo La Coruña.
Yeah.
I could take as many shots and they will never go over the bar. You know?
That's crazy.
Yes. In a very difficult situation, that is a rolling ball coming to you. For you to be able to knock such ball precisely to maintain just 1 feet or 1 meter high. It should not go more. And then the same thing you can now, because you want to get him warmed up at another stage of transition, then you lift it to 3 meters. How you can knock that ball straight to, you don't need to throw it with your hand. You need to be able to get 3 meters approximately. Yeah, sometimes you get it right, sometimes, okay. But at least you get that measurement. So I'm very good with it. And anybody who can train goalkeepers must be good in those levels of precise shots, precise timing, and, the ability of using your foot to play. Because sometimes, for a goalkeeper, what scares goalkeepers playing with the foot? The time the ball is being passed to you by your colleague, you see space. But in a tinkle of seconds, those spaces are closed.
Yeah.
So you must have some skills of how you move the ball to create space. So if you're not good on your foot, and we call that ball mastering, if you're not good in ball mastering, you'll make a hell of a mistake as a goalkeeper.
So at Deportivo, I don't know if my memory is correct, but were you backing up the Cameroonian legend at the time?
Thank you.
Jackson. So what was that like, knowing you probably thought you were just as good as him? Yes, he was a legend, but so are you. What was that like, having that dynamic where you may not start every game, and the coach believes so much in this guy? He's your African brother. He's a legend. Were you friends? Was it tough?
Jack, good question. You see, and that are areas I encourage players to be more acceptance, and work harder, to be the one. And when you find yourself sitting on the bench, it's not over. It's just for you to learn, and it's just for you to work harder to make sure you take the number 1 jersey. So for me then, I saw it as a moment of learning again, a moment of understanding what team spirit means. Team spirit means, even though if I thought I should be the one, I should have been the one, at that moment, it's team spirit. I have to give my team spirit because we want to win, So that's how I felt.
Yeah. So let's go back a bit again. I loved your Port Harcourt story.
Yes.
So when did professional football start for you? Was it immediately after school? And which club was it? Did you partake in any age group kind of football tournaments and stuff like that?
Yes. I participated in, I represented River State, Blue Angels. That is what they call their festival. The name, the beer.
Yeah.
And we came for National Sports Festival.
Okay, I remember.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was 79. And thereabout, or I don't know. And I was representing River State for under 13. We are walloped. We are walloped by Bendel.
Bendel.
Yes. We are walloped 9-0. In fact, I cried and cried and cried. People were just telling me not to worry, please, sorry. And we were saying, these boys are too big. These boys are too big. These boys are too big. We were all complaining. All of us were complaining. All the officials of River State were complaining. In fact, that these boys are too big. These boys are not under 13. They are not under 13. They are above under 13. And I found myself in goal. In fact, I never forget that massacre. I never forgot that massacre. And that, later on created the kind of division, a kind of in my thoughts, a goalkeeper or a player. Should I be a goalkeeper or should I be a player? Should I be a goalkeeper? Should I continue as a goalkeeper or should I go back as a player? But the fans, the schoolmates, the teachers were telling me, no, Peter, you are good. Till I met a man called Tiger, working for the Nigerian Post Authority of Port Harcourt. He saw me. He said, Peter, in school, you're a good goalkeeper. So that was how I played. Through that man training, I now went into school, a tertiary school, where it's called Government Vocational School in Port Harcourt, to study electrical installation. That was what I did, electrical installation works. Now, while I was in school, Sharks Football Club.
Sharks, Port Harcourt.
Yes, Football Club of Port Harcourt. We are training, and my school had a football match, and Sharks Football Club coach, a white man from Germany, saw me and said, this guy is good, and made an arrangement that he should invite me to Sharks training.
Wow.
So they invited me to Sharks training. That was how, after the National Festival.
National Sports Festival.
Yes, National Sports Festival that I played under 13. From under 13, now I went to start training with Sharks Football Club. And then Monday Sinclair.
Yes.
Now was then with Sharks. And that's why. So I trained. So the very first day I finished my final exam in Port Harcourt, I now left that very day night to Lagos to join Stationary Stores of Lagos.
Wow.
So did you think about joining Sharks, or was there just not an opportunity to
There was no opportunity, as to say. What was in my mind was I just want to start playing football. I know Sharks was giving me training, accepted me.
Yeah.
They've come to take me to go and play some football matches in Kaduna. In Kaduna I played FA Cup, from school, at school age, under 17. I was in goal for Sharks, So when I finished my exam, my intention with my friends in school is, let's go to Lagos, Stationary Stores.
Because Stores was the...
let's go Stationary Stores. And I know I'm a Lagosian, although I was in Port Harcourt, because my mom too is from River State.
Got it.
So that's why I'm in River State then, because I was going to school. Because my dad gave instruction that my mom should watch over me and make sure that I go to school. And that is her, assignment, complete assignment. So she did it right, as God will have it. And I finished, and I now went to stationary stores. I got to Stationary Stores with my shoe, Christmas shoe. No boot.
Nothing.
No goalkeeper jersey.
Oh, wow.
I got there. So when I got there, the training was going on. They said those who came for screening should come out. When we come out, we are over 150.
Wow.
That came out for screening.
For goalkeeper screening or just general
screening?
All right.
So there were goalkeepers, there were different positions. Okay. So the goalkeepers came out. When goalkeepers came out, we were close to about 15, So they said, okay. They started testing us one by one. And the screening started. So when it got to my turn, the captain asked, where is my gloves? I said, no gloves. He said, where is my football boot? I said, no football boot.
Wow.
He said, where's my kit? I said, I was wearing school uniform.
Wow.
And my mom is not aware of this. My mom thought, because I was in boarding house after my primary school and everything, when I went to tertiary, I was in boarding.
Whereas you're in Lagos.
So they now thought I was still in boarding. They never knew that I finished my exam today in the afternoon.
Yeah.
The night, that same day night.
You were in Lagos?
We entered night bus.
Night bus to Lagos.
We were the next day in Lagos. With that condition, we went straight for screening from the motor park to the field for screening. You know, no place to stay. So our intention is that if it does not work, that same night again, we are boarding the night bus.
Going back to
Port Harcourt. So that was what we did. So I wasn't alone with my friends, you know, even my classmate, my good friend followed me, you know, blessed memory, has passed on. So when we got there, the man asked me, where's your kids? I said, nothing. He said, is it how you keep? I said, yes. The manager looked at me, said, okay, go on. I went in. The training started. After about 30 minutes, they stopped the session. They called me out. I was outside. My friend was looking at me. All of us that came from Port Harcourt, they were looking at me. So as they were looking at me, I was looking at them too. I was doing my hand like this.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's happening. So they were also trying their best to see if they will be selected. All right. Finally, when the session finished, they came to me. They said, I'm selected.
Wow.
In fact, they first of all selected me. They said, I'm selected. You know, so we are all happy. So they came back to me again. They said, what they saw, do I have a place? Where am I coming from? I explained to them. I'm coming from Port Harcourt, from this. I explained to them. So they said, you don't have a place here to stay in Lagos. I said, I have a place, but if I go to that place, they will beat me.
Which is your dad's place?
What is my dad's place? I said, they will beat hell out of me. So they said, okay, they will give me a place. So the manager now took me to Isaleko.
Wow.
He has a hotel there. They gave me a room with my friends. They bought me goalkeeper's jersey. They bought me goalkeeper's boots. They bought me gloves. They gave me pocket money. And they told me to wait here, to stay there. They called the manager of the hotel that they should take care of me and everything. I was the only one selected among all my friends that came from Port Harcourt.
Whoa.
You know? Yeah. And among all the goalkeepers that came, I'm the only one selected.
That was selected.
You know? So that was how my joining stationery stores after my school, everything, happened.
So if we now fast forward from stationery stores, with this story that you've told, your appearance and your the games that you played for Super Eagles, it brings it into proper context as to how, a kid that came from Rivers, just on trial, without gloves, without boots, without anything, all of a sudden is playing for Super Eagles.
Yeah.
All of a sudden is the number one goalkeeper for Nigeria at his first World Cup.
Yeah.
How was that feeling, at the World Cup, for example, that first game, putting into context where you're coming from, looking at you that now I am Nigeria's first goalkeeper ever at the World Cup. What was that feeling like?
It was big because, to be honest, I shed tears.
Wow.
The very day it was announced that I was going to captain the squad. I shed tears because before that very day, our first outing in the World Cup, a lot of rumors, a lot of things has been going on between me and Westoff. And I've been wondering, where are all this coming from? And I know when it comes to cool-headed, I'm cool. No one need to tell me about, because my parents, I give them kudos. They are no more, but I thank Almighty God for what they've done for me in terms of home training, in terms of the ethics they impacted on me. In fact, they guided me, and I am so grateful. I thank God Almighty for that. With that, I was so confident with whatever Westoff was complaining, that I was hearing from people, or whatever any manager or anybody would be saying. I was so confident. I was so sure that I've not done anything of those things.
Yeah.
Anybody must have complained to Westoff, or Westoff must have received as complaint outside that I did this or I did that. So I was in the room with Samson Siasia, who was my roommate, and I just had on my door tick, 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 knocking. And something says I responded. I said, yes, who is that? They said, open the door. It's me. It's me, Westoff, your coach. So he came in. So people, crowd. The ambassador to Nigeria in America and all his crew that came. Wow. You know, the Minister of Sports, delegates from Nigeria, from the presidency. You know, I saw all those people. Then Nigerian businessmen, you know, representative of America, you know, associations, heads, chairmen, everybody was coming. The room was not spacious enough to accommodate everyone. And this is a big room, you know, the kind of room they give to players at World Cup level. Yeah. Big, very big room, double room like a suite, you know. So something came out. He said, Dodo, he said, look, all these people for you. I said, I don't know. The next thing, Westoff stood up. He said, Peter, we are here to see you with all these people. I bring them because I think I bring them to you. You know the way he speaks his English. Yeah. I bring them.
Descent mimic, you know, Westoff, by the way.
I bring them because I think I must speak to you. Peter Rufai, I am sorry.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
That was the first thing. Immediately I heard that, I am sorry. First of all, he said, it is Nigerians who we are telling him all those stories. And I now could figure out that probably somebody who is doing this wanted a way for him to get me off so that they can bring in someone else.
Yeah, exactly.
So I said, okay. I said, it's one of those things. So in my mind, he said, they were telling him, he said, he didn't know. He said, but after his investigation, he now discovered that my hands are clean, that I am one of his best players. And he said, Peter, I am very sorry. Wow. And from today, you are my captain. And he brought out a band and he gave it to me in the presence of the ambassadors, the ministers, and all those people. At that point, I collected it, but with tears. With tears. Because I remember what I went through. Before 94, he dropped me in 94, Tunisia.
Yep.
Till Nigerian fans went up and started singing on the street. We want Peter Rufai, we want Peter Rufai. Before they sent a presidential message to bring me out directly, an order to bring me to the Super Eagles camp in Portugal. So when I remembered all that happened to me, I burst into tears. And as we speak, I'm emotionally touched. I remember that moment. I remember the hell I went through. Even when many were not seeing it. But I was just calm, out of education, upbringing. I calmed. I never even disrespect him. Even with all that was going on, I never disrespect Westoff. I was still attending to his calls, normal. I was still partaking in training sessions. I was still doing everything like everyone was doing, So that was how, if I should look everything, this goalkeeper without shoes, without boots, without gloves, everything now is Nigerian #1. It brings me remembering all the steps. And it's also bring me on the other side to say, if you see anybody, you never know tomorrow. Do not underrate anybody you meet on your journey. On your road to success, on your road to whatever, never underrate, because you don't know tomorrow, what tomorrow may bring. So this is what this scenario, really gives me as a picture,
That's good.
So Yinka,
excuse me.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was Yinka and I were talking about how do we bring up some of the more difficult parts of your career. Now, when we were growing up, like I said in my introduction, you're a myth. When we played on the fields, the goalkeepers wanted to be Peter Rufai when we were growing up. Yeah. And I don't think if Michael Jordan was sitting here right now, I would feel any more in awe.
Yeah.
Because for us, you're a myth. Like, you're literally a myth, right? So you were like almost synonymous to goalkeeper when we were growing up. It was like goalkeeper Peter Rufai, goalkeeper Peter Rufai, right? And then Yinka and I were thinking about what would be like the moment. And for each of us, I'm not going to tell you how old we are, but we're the same age. And for each of us, it was Maroc 88, right? That was the moment for us that, Peter Rufai became like the myth, And then we go into 90, you're not on the team. 92, you're not on the team. We know there were injuries. We knew, because there was no social media back then, but there was some reporting. We knew there was the Westoff thing. So I'm really grateful that you took the time to walk us through that, because we were trying to figure out, should we bring it up? Should we not?
That's good.
Because I know there were injuries and all that, but, for us, it was like, hey, what happened? What happened? This man was literally a legend, literally a myth. And then you show up in 94 and, the rest, as they say.
There was that
history.
gap between, was it 88 to 94? 93,
yeah.
Right? That you just kind of, you didn't play for Nigeria.
Yeah. You're right.
But you were playing abroad.
You were playing abroad, but it doesn't happen in Nigeria.
Yes. I was playing there, and I came to play 2 matches. Qualifying matches. And that was it.
And that was it.
That was it. And I was wondering, I said, what could stop me from playing or wearing the Nigerian, number 1 shirt?
Absolutely.
And I was checking, and I was comparing which of these goalkeepers are playing abroad like me.
I know you're too nice to say it, but we were comparing too. And none of them.
In fact, I swept, I made my self-evaluation, but I'm not using it to say it must be me, but I just said, just to satisfy myself and calm myself, I said, okay, Peter, take it easy. I checked, I said no, but I did not give up.
I did not give Senegal 92.
Oh,
right.
Yes. Can I ever forget?
The goalkeeper then, we joked.
It was pedestrian.
He was scared of Abedi Pele. The main name of Abedi Pele, he was shivering.
This is the reality. And we're like, Abedi Pele is like a legend. But we also have a goalkeeper who is a legend.
You know what happened in 92? In 92, the same issue came up. Fans said, why not invite Peter? You guys are camping in Holland, in Papendal. Peter is based in Belgium.
It's just...
it's just a stone throw. Just a stone throw to Papendal. And luckily, they said, okay, they invite me to come to Papendal and play a match. Let them see my condition. I went to Papendal. The players my colleagues were all happy to see me, everybody. Westoff arranged a match that he wants to see me in the match, how I perform everything. It was a clean slate. On the day of the match, as the match was about to start, Westoff left the field.
So he didn't watch you?
So he left Christian Chukwu.
Okay.
So if the man who invited me to see if I can follow the squad to go to Senegal 92 is just excusing himself out that he's going for important event.
You get the message.
So I said, okay, let me do my own part. So I did my own part, clean slate. The same week, list was announced. We all assembled. They announced the list. My name was missing.
Wow.
And I came for this trial from the school campus. I was in university then.
Wow.
So you went to school in Belgium as well?
Yes,
Nigeria.
Thank you.
All right.
So it was in Belgium there while I was doing my master's that I was invited. So I left school to come for that invitation, to answer the call. So when I got there, nothing worked out. Westoff, that was it. He mentioned the list, called us up. He mentioned the list. After mentioning the list, of those going to the World Cup, to
Nations Cup,
Senegal,
92. Senegal, yeah.
I came out, I excused, I said, can I speak? He said, yes, Peter. I took the mic. I addressed my colleagues. I thanked them for receiving me, warm reception. I thanked the staffs, the official, the crew, technical department. I thanked everybody. And I looked at Westoff and I said to him, I wish you all the best.
Wow.
At least you invited me, but you did not watch my match. My match was about to start, and you left, and you invited me, and you were the one to take decision.
Yeah.
President Chukwu said he's not the one to take decision. So, we smiled on that a little bit. And he said, yes, Rufai, yes, Rufai. You know his way, yes, Rufai. I said, I thank you for even inviting me to use that as an opportunity to see my colleagues, that I've missed them all. Because it's a moment where whenever we gather from our different, clubs and different countries and places we play, we use that as an opportunity to, get together again.
Yeah.
I say thank you for that alone. And I look at the team, I said, look, guys, I wish you all the best.
Wow.
Go there.
And do your and win for Nigeria.
I'm going back to Belgium and I'm going to finish my master's. I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
And you left.
And I left, and they left for Tunisia.
I think it's safe to say.
So that was how I was that music in between the score. Yes, that was how it happened.
I think it's safe to say neither of us would have handled it the same way. But that's why you are who you are, sir.
Yeah.
All right, so we've done a lot on the last segment on the introduction, who you are.
Yeah.
You're a very reserved, kind of quiet personality. So I think a lot of Nigerians don't know a lot about you. So I appreciate you taking us through. These are stories we've never heard.
We've never.
You kind of joke about other stars. When they give interviews, they're like, "Yeah, I've heard that before. But for you, like, this is literally the first time we're hearing all the stories, and we follow these things pretty closely. So thank you for opening up and walking us through that. So we're gonna move this forward to our next segment. All right. So we've talked a little bit about goalkeeping techniques.
Yeah.
I know you have a technical mind. You're a coach. You're brilliant. Can you just walk us through, like, how have you seen goalkeeping techniques evolve since when you were young, throughout your career, and today? Are goalkeepers, are they better today? Is it different? Is it the same?
I think the qualities of goalkeeping, when compared to back then, let's say 3 decades back, and today, you can see a mix of a little bit of all the what we call the modern.
Okay.
Has a root from back 3 decades backwards. They think goalkeepers were not used back then. We are playing with the foot, playing as the last man. Don't pick up the ball with the hand, and when the back passes are given, you use your foot. We are not there, right? Well, when it comes to the way the football is being kicked, the techniques players apply has been there. Let's go back to the days of Pele. Let's go back to the days of Garincha, Usubio. These are people who were using those techniques of kicking the ball, and goalkeepers were, attempting to stop their balls and their thing. When you talk about, maybe players where they can dribble, go back and see the way Pele dribbles, And when you go back and see how Johan Cruyff plays. You see Johan Cruyff when he's playing, so skillful.
Yeah.
He can dribble before you know what you're doing. It takes you up, you know. Go back to Bobby Robson time, you know. You see that the skills that we now celebrate as if it is a new scientific innovation has been on. It's just like it has not been given sound marketing. It's not been given sound marketing to say. Come and see goalkeeper saves those days. Gordon Banks.
Pele.
You know?
1970.
Yes. Sip Meyer. You know? Dinosaur. You know? Goalkeepers have been performing. Goalkeepers have been taking off to save balls, you know, in unimaginable situation that you say, how did the goalkeeper get there to do those things? They've been doing it. And when you see it today, if we want to say goalkeepers are more special today because of science, then my first question, how many goalkeepers have Nigeria raised since after my set and Vincent Iyama to today? If it is that, you know, it's like when you come to industries, manufacturing, you say, this industry, they've just manufactured this. They've just manufactured this. They've just manufactured something new. This other company, they've just introduced a new dish. A new dish, a fine dish. Then, if we now say goalkeepers are doing better than them, why are we not seeing them in a populated nation like Nigeria?
Good point.
You're dropping a lot of gems. I'm just going to say something real quick before Yinka jumps in. So you know, when you talk about goalkeepers playing with their feet, I was watching a video of our former goalkeeper, Ike Shoromu.
Yeah.
And I think we, the public, never like looked at him as like a Peter Rufai or anything like that. Yeah. But when I saw some of the videos of him playing in Europe and the things he was doing back then, I'm like, that's what these kids are doing today.
Yeah.
You know, he was doing those things. He was sweeping. He was sweeping, he was doing, and I'm just like, how did we miss this? You know, how did we miss how great, you know, this man was? So I just thought I would drop that.
Yeah. You know that point of Ike Shoromu, you know, Ike Shoromu is a very calculated goalkeeper. When it comes to calculation, Ike is very good. If you're with him, if the game is going on, Ike is very focused. He knows when you cannot go, the ball should get back to him. He's already there to support you. That is why you could see. But a goalkeeper who cannot follow the game, they are often caught.
Yes.
They are often caught by surprises. And that is where you see, I have, you know, a very high, you know, esteem, respect for Ike Shoromu, just like what you just mentioned here. He's very good with his feet. Very, very. And when you say, how come we do not get all this? It is not because how come. It is because statistics to draw the awareness of we all was not in vogue. The statistics report.
Saves per 90 minutes or whatever.
Thank you. If the statistics reports were in vogue then and they were reporting, definitely there will be reason to, you know, scrutinize. And,
that's a very fascinating point. That's a good point. So in terms of longevity, over 20, your career span, you know, over 20 years.
Yeah.
And we can't say the same for so many people. So was there any special routine in terms of your training, in terms of how you kept your body? Was there anything special that you did, you know, that aided that longevity in your career?
Yes, indeed. Great, because up to date, whenever I meet fans, I come across fans. In fact, I just have to say kudos to my fans. Too much. These guys are too much. I say because sometimes the fans just keep us going. I should speak of myself. They just keep me going. Because when I meet my fans, they say, Dodo Mayana, how are you? You know? You see, that 1 minute, 2 minute exchange of, greetings, it's like a therapy. It's like a therapy. Brings smiles, and when you calculate how many times in a day you come across such therapy, and then you multiply it by the week and the month and the years, you see how many percent it gives you. It's like you are taking a favorite dish, Good point. So that's really to be honest. Yes. So each time they see me, they say, how, boy, some of your colleagues I know, man, they are, I know where you're going, they say, come on. And sometimes they will go up to the extent of going out of Nigerian contest to Europe and say, do you remember Ronaldo of Brazil? They will go, they mention
Adriano, oh my
gosh. And mention all that. So I would just I look at them, I say, well, they know what they're talking best about. I take it that way. So the special thing I do, it's that I've come across great coaches. I've come across Brazilian coaches, Otto Gloria in the year 1980, 81, 82, when he was coaching Nigerian, Green Eagles. Yeah. Otto Gloria from Brazil. Manfred Ona. Yep. Many coaches from Germany, from Yugoslavia, former Sharks coach, come across these coaches. I've come across Peter Fregene, Emmanuel Okala, late Joe Rico, blessed memory. These guys impacted in me. James Peters, who used to be the assistant of Onibinde when we were preparing for 84 something Nations Cup, also impacted. So all the training, this training were rigorous training. Then my European flight, my European experience, brought me in working under many coaches, and I learned a lot of their teachings to me, how to keep that same condition and everything, and what I should be doing from time to time. And I keep doing them, and these have really helped me. In fact, I can still go into the goalpost, do some actions, and even when I was playing some novelty matches and stuff like that, even as I am today, I can still go in today and I tell a player playing in Nigerian APL, say these are 50 balls from the edge of 18. Take a shot. At least before the section finishes of 20 shots, the player will know that, yes, the hand that trained this man,
amazing.
Yes, was really solid hand. So I went through real rugged training. It's just like you see a soldier, a military soldier, anytime, any day, check him out. You will still see the characteristics. Yes, you will still see the signs of that. Yeah. So those are the things that have kept me. And again, my meals, my nutritions, the nutrients, everything that I make sure I get from what I take, I maintain them. My, habits of eating, yes, I maintain them. I know when to want to eat, and I know when not to eat when it is too late. Yeah. And I know, just like, before we get started, I'm thirsty. I wanted to have some water, but I don't want to have the water too early because it might cause me to give me uncomfortable feeling at the point.
That's interesting.
You understand? So for that reason, I prefer to pay that price and have a comfortable feeling throughout my sessions. Wow. So those are the things that kept me, going.
This is height of discipline.
No, it's crazy because when you walked in and we met, so I think people watching us now, they don't know your physique because you're sitting down.
Yes.
Right? But you still tower, right? You look like you're still in shape and you could get and go today, like you said. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah,
now,
it is.
We've talked about the physical. So that's the physical. That's how I think I already know the answer to this from the story you've told us. but how did you keep yourself mentally sharp when you were playing? How did you keep yourself mentally above your competition? Both when, you went through your struggles and just even at the height, when you were at the height of your success and popularity, how do you maintain the mental fortitude?
Okay. From the angle of somebody who is so passionate for his job or her job, there will be that concern to take every detail of what he or she is doing. Or if it's somebody who serves or who presents to the public, or if it's somebody who is an engineering manager or director or whatever position you find yourself. But in everything you do, you take very cognizant, respect to details in your job. That's what I do. And I always make sure that when the coach is speaking, if the coach said, you are my central, 5 and 6. If the coach said, Mr. Yinka, when you say Bajo is coming with the ball, I don't want you to be the first. Give him some space. Don't close him up too quick. Because if you close him up too quick, he can do 2 to beat 1 very fast. Or if you close him too quick, he will be the one, he might dribble you. I've taken that message. It's your message, but I've taken it. So I'll be waiting for a moment when a situation will come between you and Bajo. And I will remind you. I'll say, Yinka, remember, don't close him up too much.
Wow.
Don't close him up too much. Don't close him up too much. Remember, don't close him up too much. I will give you that signal and I will come. And you take it up. So that keeps me mentally busy. So the same thing I do for almost every player.
Wow.
Yes. Sometimes I will be shouting. So the ability to remember, the ability to pass the message, these are two different things. Sometimes you remember, you want to pass the message, but the noise, the background, that the player you are about to pass the message can't hear you. So it makes me as if, what should I do? What should I do? And at that point, I will sack myself. Sack myself by probably jumping up and I will, pedal. When I pedal, I stand. I pick up confidence like, okay, I cannot reach him. So Peter, get ready. I cannot reach him. Oh, I want to reach Chidinwanu. The noise is too much. I cannot reach him. But I'm still trying to reach him. Few times I will call Chidi. Chidi will not hear me because of the background noise. I will sack myself again. Sometimes I clap my hand. I clap my hand and I do this. And I say, come on. I say, come on. So those are the things I do. And I read a lot of books. I read, because I was still following my courses. And then after school, I was still reading to see how I'm going to get started. Once in a while, I'll pick up some books, things like that, were what I was doing. But most of it all in the game is that I follow the coach like this. Anytime the coach, even Westoff, even when he's talking, I will just be close to listen. I will not worry, I will not say anything. But the minute the match starts, I take control.
Wow.
Take control.
Wow.
So that's it.
Very, very profound. Because we've seen keepers today's game that say they struggle to stay mentally focused for 90 minutes.
And they say this, and I'm like, why would you ever say that?
They say that, for goalkeepers, it's you're part of the game, but you're not really part of the game. If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
The game, you might be there, you might not have to make a save. For 50 minutes. And all of a sudden you have like five saves to make. So keepers struggle to keep that mental. But it's interesting based on what you said. Quite profound.
To add to what you've just said now too, that is where goalkeepers drops. You see, the moment the tension is not on your side, goalkeepers tend to follow the flow of the game like that. The game is
relaxed.
I see the picture.
Yeah.
Yes. But at that point, these are areas where you should be checking for everyone. So now, it comes on the technical aspect. When the ball is not with you as a player, what do you do?
Okay.
I get a picture. When you don't have the ball, you pass the ball to your colleague, or the opponent wins the ball. What do? You make sure you keep, adjusting your positions in line with the technical instruction, and not to give the opponent, free room to operate. That's one. So if you are in goal as a goalkeeper, you are not with the ball, you've released the ball, and the ball is in the opponent's half, it's your responsibility to be checking the positions of all your players on the pitch if they are well positioned.
Absolutely.
So the minute you keep doing that, you discover that you are in the game.
Exactly.
Now, that brings me back to fans sometimes saying to me after match, Dodo Mayana, well done. Today, no pressure. No pressure. Today, no pressure. I will smile. I will just smile. I shake my head. I say, yes, no pressure, really, indeed, in my mind. And sometimes I'll, physically voice it out back to them. Yes, indeed, no pressure. Because that's not the moment to start telling them what you're undergoing. You understand?
Fair point.
That's not the moment.
Yeah.
Sometimes I play matches, I don't get one shot at my goal for 90 minutes. I don't get. Either my defenders will block the shot, either the strikers will not be able to shoot, either that the upcoming striker don't find, how to make the two to beat one or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, somebody would think that I did not,
You didn't do your job that day.
But on such day, I have overdrained myself mentally. Because I'm the one doing the calculation. I'm doing the calculation. I'm looking at the space. The ball is on my left, but I'm seeing what is the position. How many meters positioning my defender is staying with the defender. How many this, I'm seeing it. And immediately I met Papa. I started calling him. I'm not looking at you again. Hey, Emelano, close up. I'm closing you up. And at the same time I'm doing that, the man on the ball and the structure the defense should have, are they having that structure?
Yeah.
Are they having that structure? So I make sure in my matches, I close the structure. I close the space.
Yeah.
I close the space for the opponent not to be able to penetrate. Even when my defenders knows what to do, I am still the second reminder for them. I will not say because they know what to do and I keep my mouth shut. No, I'm watching them. Once I see there is a little bit of delay, I give them information. Sometimes it can be so hard. I will scream on them. Come on. I see a lap where an opponent striker moves and take a shot. I come out and I scream. I say, why did you allow that? I say, why did you allow that? Fans don't understand. It's not because why did you allow that shot to come to me? But the shot, the guy got not 1 meter space, he got like 3-4 meter space. So in a situation of 3-4 meter space, we're not talking about 1 meter space, 4 meter space.
That means you didn't close him down enough.
Any striker can surprise you, the goalkeeper, no matter how good you are. If you give him such meter again,
yes, sir.
The time you think he will cut in, instead of taking a shot, he moves in again. Instead of taking a shot, he now realizes where the goalkeeper is standing, and he now knows where he's going to send the ball. So it is for next time not to give him such space. If the striker is so crafty and beats you and take a shot one time, this guy is a crafty guy. He's trying normal. I can't, call on you. I say, Uche Okechukwu, what is happening? Or let's Stephen Keshi, blessed memory, what's happening? I won't, But 3-4 meters?
Yes, that's too much space.
No, it's too much.
Yeah.
So at such situations, a goalkeeper needs to come out, and say, "Kai, guys, what's happening?" That's it.
Fair point. You talked about you reading a lot.
Yeah.
And that's quite impressive. I know a number of Super Eagles players that their post-retirement journey has not been good. We're not going to mention names.
Yeah.
But yours has been quite successful. So what is it like, that transition from your playing days to, what you're doing now? And how do you... A lot of people struggle. You've been doing something since you were born. Since you were young. And you're 40, 45 and you can't play anymore. People struggle. And the options are limited in most cases. Either you're a pundit, you're a coach, right? Those are the limits. There's only few people that then venture into other things.
Yeah.
But you've done it very well. Can you talk a bit more about that? Maybe this is a good point for you to tell us, how post-retirement life has been for you.
Yeah. That's a good one, really good one. And that's where I'm looking forward to what can be done in general to the Nigerian football family. The industry itself.
Yes.
To look into affairs of players after active career. Because as a matter of fact, the concern for what ex-players go through, it's not a good experience so far. And I'm looking at into what can be done. And that has made me worked a lot of, proposals to what can help reduce, such lack of active or
support
performance of players after retiring.
Yeah.
It has brought me to different debates with colleagues, with individual businessmen and women to look at it. And we've had the challenge of expecting the government to be part of it. Because if the government can be part of it, it will really go a long way, indeed, as a matter of fact. And another thing is to make players understand, while you are pursuing your career, the importance of academics. It's so good. It can never be over-talked about or I'm trying to say, there's a word I'm trying to catch up. I can't catch it up now. Yes, overemphasized, because that it's the base, that is the pillar that will keep you during your post, lifetime. The pillar, and it goes a long way. And we are trying to bring now to the modern teaching, which I have in my school right now. I have a football school, residential college, and I also have an academy. Now, in the residential school, what we teach, these are players who are of age bracket from 17 to 20.
Okay.
From 17 to 20. We are ensuring that we teach them leadership skills. We teach them also finance. We teach them finance, how to handle fund, how to manage fund. We teach them the ethics. We teach them, quite a lot. We teach them a little bit of diplomacy in life. You might be so good and you are in a club and you don't know why you're not playing. You don't know why you're not playing. You begin to wonder why you're not playing. So we make them understand there could be so many reasons why you may not play. The club is a business entity. It's a business entity. If now he's playing well and the club is going to have me for the next 2 seasons, but the club wants him to go to another club. The club they want him to go, your club already have it in mind.
Wow.
It's just like when you come to politics, where you see the king wants the prince of his friend, the other king, to marry the daughter. You get me?
Yeah.
He already knows where he's going. He already knows who. He will now start talking to the daughter or start talking to the son, the prince. I want you to look at this, consider this before, Now, you bring it to football. Football, they want to make money. Okay, we have 25, 30 players. Okay, let's move 2, 3, 4 players to this club. The club may decide to stop playing you and me.
Because they want to
just showcase
him.
They want to showcase this man because they want him to go so that they can make money.
Absolutely.
But if you get angry as a football player and begin to behave,
throw tantrums,
out of, you begin to say, I'm supposed to play, I'm this and that. You are missing it.
Yeah.
You are missing it. It's a business club. They have the structure. They know what they're doing. Yeah. These are not clubs they are clubs who are saying they want to go first, second, third, fourth. But these are clubs who might be in the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. They have their structure. They have their objectives. Another club has a different objectives. So clubs have different objectives. So if you are in one of those clubs with an objective where they make money to build the club, first of all, gradually, you just have to be very clear. So these are the things we teach players to understand. If they find themselves in situations like that, they should take it easy and give their best, maximum best. They should not allow such in their career deprive them of giving their best. So we teach them all this so that they should not make those mistakes we do. Some of us made those mistakes and we pay seriously for it. I'm a victim. Most of us that we are the first generation that, started this European football for Nigeria. We paid a lot of price. I don't think there is one of us who did not have 1 or 2 stories to tell about contracts, football players' contracts. We just signed.
You sign anything that they give you.
Yes, So that is what we make sure. So we make sure in the school now, we teach them all this to improve them, to give them better idea, better understanding of what to do. So it is true, the academic, that gave me the strength and the ability to, after active career, to be able to set up something and do. Apart from that, I have my company for projects, designing projects and creating and being able to work with government, being able to work with corporate bodies and being able to work with individuals, in different sectors. If you mention anything now, I could really think deep into it and be able to create something, based on what you present to me. Just like an architect, you tell an architect, this is the kind of structure of house you want. An architect will, just, visualize and come out with something, in line with your dream, So that's what I think has helped me, thanks to God, to those who have also advised me in that line to make sure I hold academics. You don't have to go to university to be better. At least you need to be at least basically, academically, prepared, so that as you get this fund, you'll be able to you have good management of your fund. And that is where a lot of us then, and even presently, are still yet to have total control over fund management.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Thank you for that. That was interesting.
That was interesting. So I'm going to do a 2-part question for my next one. When you mentioned Peter Rufai, Joe Rico, blessed memory, I think you mentioned Okala as well.
Yes.
So we did a lot of research, obviously, before this interview. And we were thinking, so the first part would be one, who were your role models when you were growing up? So like I said, to us, you're a myth, you're a legend, but you were not the first, right? People were playing football in Nigeria before you came along. And there were goalkeepers in Nigeria before you came. So that's my first one. Who was your role model? And then the second one would be, you've already kind of touched on it, but what would be your way of developing African football and Nigerian football going forward? What would be the most impactful way of developing?
Okay, great question. Great. Because when I was coming up, we didn't have the grace of having information of
That's true.
European goalkeepers, European players. So I was dealing with what I could find around the continent of Africa. And by the international matches Nigeria plays, by club side matches Nigeria plays, I was remembering Ikram Ahmed of Egypt.
Oh, wow.
I was remembering the goalkeeper of Morocco, Zaki.
Yeah,
Bado Zaki. Good memory. So you're my contemporary. So that's good. Bado Zaki. First time I would see a goalkeeper, instead of facing the field, when he wants to take a penalty, catch a penalty, he now take his side, position sideways, and put his hand this way. Bado Zaki, I said, oh, my God. And to be honest, it got the kicker confused.
Exactly.
Got the kicker confused. So to answer that question, actually, I looked at it from two angles. One is Emmanuel Okala because of his position.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No. Before, and I was asking myself, why is it in that form? So I didn't understand, not until I started digging deep to find out why is Emmanuel Okala of these characteristics of catching shot. You will beat everybody, and take a very fine shot that is going to 2-3 meters away from him. But instead of this man to fall, he's still standing.
Oh, wow.
And he will pick the ball. I now discovered that this man was doing a lot of positioning. But in doing a lot of position, something follows. I can't break everything down.
Yeah.
That's for another day.
Then
when it comes to Peter Fregene, I never see a goalkeeper like this guy. He reminds me of the history of Rigogo. I did not meet Rigogo in action. But when you listen to the story of Rigogo, then you imagine as a goalkeeper, then you class him in the level of Peter Fregene. Peter Fregene will take off. He will call me. I was in room with him. Was my roommate. I was the smallest in camp.
Yeah.
At 17, I was in the national team already of Nigeria. He will call me, say, Dodo. That's how he called me, Dodo. Then, when he called me, he said, this kind of ball, if the ball is coming, once you pin your leg like this, take off. I'll be watching him. In training section, every act, every movement, when we come back, he will be telling me the stories of how strikers wanted to break through during training sections. When we'll be training, Alosho Statuebu, Blessed Memory, Sheko Degbami, Adokia Mesimaka, will blow. I was in camp with them as the smallest.
Wow.
I was able to see goalkeepers perform. I was able to see goalkeepers fighting for shirts. So after going through such rugged and tedious, experience of what it takes to be successful, those are some of the things that helps me. And those were, if I may go back a little bit to some of the questions asked me here about the performance of our players today. it's affecting, because most of our players playing abroad do not watch super egos of those days play. They just hear.
Yes, yeah.
If they watch, come closer and see, they will understand. They will understand that once you put on that Nigerian color, it's not for joke.
It's not joke.
It's to go and represent the millions of Nigeria out there when you go for international matches. So Peter Fregene and Emmanuel Okala. I picked up all the beauty. The beauty of following the ball was Peter Fregene. The beauty of calculation and position was Emmanuel Okala.
Thank you.
I never picked any of I have my favorite in Europe because I made efforts in trying to know what the European goalkeepers were like. Sepp Maier. I tried to watch Sepp Maier many times and enjoy his goalkeeping. Dinosov, enjoy. Ikrami Ahmed, Africa here. Zaki, like I mentioned earlier. Gordon Banks. So I followed all these goalkeepers, and I also like the way the East Bloc goalkeepers are. East Bloc goalkeepers, they are more hardened. More hardened, and but of all, the names I've just mentioned to you.
Sorry, and then the second part, how do we develop African football and Nigerian football?
Yes. If you ask me, it will take a kind of changing. Everything about the constitution of sports in Nigeria is in order. It's just the fact that we are not following it. We are not following it. That is one. Because if we are following it, it could have helped us in developing talents. It could have helped us to go further than what 94 squad and the 96 Olympic squad has achieved. I see no reason why we hit to such pendulum and suddenly drop. Until today, we are still struggling. When you ask the wise men, how did you get to the top of the mountain? They will tell you how they got to the top of the mountain. But in this case now, it seems we cannot remember how we got to the top and repeat it again. See, because if you get to the top, you should know how you got there, and repeat it again. You may not in the first time, but you may again. Look at, Arsenal has been there for a long time, but they were able to show us that, yes. I'm sorry, I want Arsenal's fans to be real happy with themselves, because Arsenal, man, I never see a fan in the whole of my life so passionate. Look, for me, I gave them thumb up. Arsenal fans, I give them thumb up anytime, any day. These are.
We need to crop this.
Really, I give them that, and we all can see how they worked it again.
Yes,
they worked it again, and they almost were there. That is sign.
Remembering where you came from.
People who knew, yes, that they can do it. So Nigeria can do it again. So all we need to do, let's give it to those who know how to do it. And let those who are going to manage, let them manage. There's no problem. But let us see how we can get those experts in those other areas that matters. Not even in the management. No, I'm not. Management, I'm going far. Yes, I'm going far because I might be complicating things, because it's going to take a whole lot.
Exactly.
But let's start from the grassroots.
Absolutely.
Let's organize the grassroots properly. Let's bring a structure for grassroots. Only grassroots. And once we bring the structure for grassroots, we make sure it's going to be consistent.
Yes.
It's not today and tomorrow, no. No, it's going to be consistent. So once we can do that, then we know there is hope. The grassroots, because we have them as pond. We have it in abundance. something you have in abundance, if you don't put it into the structure perspective, it becomes a waste. It becomes we don't know what we are doing.
Yeah.
So that is where, and that is what I will do. Finding myself in that position or consulting, this is what I would say we have to do. Design the structure for the grassroots. And once where it's well designed, then there's going to be a transition from that grassroots. That transition is going to now take it up to the next level and get, private investors,
Absolutely.
get, corporate bodies to come into it and see the kind of, returns that we could make in the section, in the industry, So from there, it begins to grow. Because football without money, it cannot move.
It can't move.
Football needs money. In fact, at the grassroots is what needs the money most.
Yep.
Because once you can get the grassroots sorted out, then the product has been prepared out from the farm, and we only need the marketing, department to come up with a structure for sales and for relationship, mergers and stuff like that, international mergers, collaborations and all those things to move our products. So those are the things we need. And then we can now look for the experts in those departments to come and work out things for us.
Yeah.
But let's be able to get the product from the farm out to them. You understand? So that's my take in terms of that.
I can just quickly piggyback on what you said, which is you are 1,000% correct.
Thank you.
You look at the current Super Eagles that we have, 60%, 70% their talents were not developed in Nigeria.
Yeah.
It will be, I know.
Yeah.
The captain.
Yeah.
We are a nation of almost 250, 300 million people.
Yeah, exactly.
And our main national team is being sourced externally.
Externally, yeah.
It's a problem.
It is.
The last under-17 set that is in the Super Eagles right now is Osimhen's set.
Yeah.
Subsequent to that, is there any other under-17 player that you've seen in the national team?
No.
So you're absolutely right. Our grassroots football needs help.
Yeah, they need help.
The football ecosystem in general, what we're selling, what the Nigerians are consuming right now is EPL, is Spanish League.
Yeah.
What is happening to our own football?
That's it.
People would rather sit down in their house and watch us now than go to Monicon Stadium to watch Sporting Lagos.
Yeah, you're right.
Even if the gate taking the gate is thrown open and it's free, people will not go.
People will not go.
Sporting Lagos is doing it.
And Sporting Lagos is doing it well.
They're doing very well.
So you look at our league, the MPL, MPFL, 80% of the teams are owned by government.
Yeah.
You need private investors, like you said.
Yeah.
So we need to develop that ecosystem, make it marketable, then we can benefit from it. Because right now we're not doing it right.
And we are losing a lot. The government is losing a lot. Because they are not seeing it. I mean, I just hope that the government will one day, within a short period of time, see what we are all talking about.
We're losing billions of dollars.
We are losing billions of dollars yearly. Because we are not managed properly. No structure. We need to create an ecosystem. That brings me to the players. When you say most of our players will depend more on the foreign players. Yeah. And when you look at the foreign players, when we bring the foreign players, okay, we're not saying don't bring foreign players. I remember my time. When you bring foreign players, it's 50-50. We bench you. We bench you. We are all playing from home. We are all local players. But I'm telling you, we are going to bench you. It's not just because it's a mouth thing. No. We are going to bench you practically. You will see it by yourself as a foreign player.
I'm not as good as these guys.
These guys are, when John Fashanu was coming, John Fashanu was, benched a couple of times. He knew that, yes, this is tough, at a point.
Yeah.
He was good. You know, John Fashanu was good in the air.
Yeah.
If you put the ball in the air, John Fashanu is sure banker is going to score. You understand? But you see, if in a squad where a coach does not understand the qualities of John Fashanu, and we don't have the players who can bring the ball out for John Fashanu, it becomes a problem for John Fashanu to feature in your team.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Are you getting the picture now?
Yeah.
We're not saying it's not good. Now, you see the picture. So in a situation where that happens, then you need to bench him and play another tactics that will bring us goal.
Absolutely.
You know, play another tactic that will bring us goal. And in playing that tactic that will bring up goal, the homeboys are ready. You tell them, do this, they do. Do that, they do. So they need to bench them. But now we are bringing players from Europe without evaluation, because there should be evaluation. There should be evaluation. Why should this guy play for the national team of Nigeria? Is he scoring regular?
Okay.
As a striker? What is his work rate compared to the home-based player to be the person to take the position, the shirt? What is the midfield player's strength? What is his work rate? What is his ball distribution percentage? What is his marking percentage? These are things you put into consideration before bringing a player. Not because you hear a player is in Kazakhstan. You hear a player is in Uzbekistan.
Oh my gosh.
You hear a player is in Turkey. You bring him. You hear a player is in Jordan. You bring him. You hear a player is in Russia. You bring him. Because it's a foreign base. No, for God's sake.
No.
The shirt is a precious jersey. You don't just put it on. When you put on that jersey,
You must have earned it.
the whole millions of Nigeria is looking up to you. It's looking up to you. So these are things we should bring in line with what you just brought, what you said concerning bringing players from Europe and all those things, and what is happening to our local players, the grassroots. You know, that was what brought up this conversation to this level. Our grassroots. What are we doing? Go to every state. Every state of Nigeria can give you close to 10,000 of youth in football alone. Alone. We're not talking of other sports. Football alone. If, in fact, 10,000 is an understatement.
That's true.
It's an understatement.
That's very true.
You know? So you can see where the government is losing, the state is losing, and our youth, most of them say this is what they want.
Oh, yeah.
So let us give them this support. And the only way we can give them this support is the listening of the yearning of Nigerians by the governors, the government, to say, okay, what do we do for our youths?
Good point. Akin, let's take this next question together.
Okay, go for it.
I know you have your own special career moments, and we will talk about that shortly. But both of us, we have one for you, which is, I think, I mentioned it a little bit earlier. Maroc 88.
Okay.
I will never forget. It's the semi-final match. It was Nigeria versus Algeria. You remember this game?
Yes, I remember.
Where we scored first, own goal. They had an own goal. So then like 4 or 5 minutes to the end of the game, they equalized.
Yeah, right.
Then someone got a red card. Was it Ademola Adesina? I can't remember who it was. Was it Ademola Adesina? I think so. Someone got a red card. And people might not know this. Our listeners listening to us. Brighton Mokaro.
Yes.
You know why they call him 10-10?
Exactly.
So one of the Algerian players, Algeria had already exhausted their substitution.
I think back then you only got 2.
You only got 2. So, and we got a red card. So Brighton Mokaro hammered one Algerian player, and the guy could not continue. So they started calling Brighton Mokaro 10-10. So, since then. But that penalty shootout, for me, that was the day I looked at you, I was like, nah.
Legend.
Yeah. Because if I remember vividly, it ended up like 10-9 or 9-8 or something.
You scored the penalty.
So for it to get to him, that means the whole team played. Eguavon played first. Then Eguavon came back again. He scored. Then Algerian player, I'll never forget his name, Lakhdar Belloumi. He took his spot kick. You didn't parry the ball. You didn't push the ball away. You actually caught the ball. You actually caught the ball. For me, that was a career-defining moment. for you, in my eyes.
Bellumi was probably the best player on the field.
He was the best player.
I think then he was pursuing. He was already playing abroad. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
He was in Portugal already.
And he has won some, awards. And he was on fire.
Yeah, and he played well that day.
Yes,
he played well that day.
I remember when he picked up the ball, he had so much confidence. I mean, we were watching this on a small, for me, it was a small black and white TV. I don't know how I remember this. This probably explains why I don't remember a lot of other things, because it's all football memories, So, but Yinka, go ahead with a question.
So, for me, that was the career defining moment. If I ask you what's your career defining moment, will that be the same, or will you pick something else?
As a matter of fact, I will still pick that very moment.
Oh, wow.
Because that was the very moment that made the breaking news.
Yes.
That a goalkeeper has arrived.
Yes.
Yes, that was the moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when I remember what happened during the penalty shootout, I remember some of our players, our colleagues, said they can't play again. They can't play again. I don't want to go mention them.
No, please don't.
When I turned, I looked, say, no, this thing should not happen again. And I was going to play and I was looking at myself. I said, God, Dodo, I was so confident, to be honest. In all of this scenario, I was so confident. Why? Because I just believe I know what I'm going to do there. I know. It's not like a question that I don't know. I know. And I trust my techniques. Because I come out every day. I dive 20 times. Wow. 20 times, both sides. Another 20, 1 meter. Another 20, 2 meters, another 20, 3 meters, like that. Keep diving on daily basis. I dive in different angles and different positions.
Wow.
And sometimes I make 500 dives in a day.
Wow.
In a day, 500 dives. You multiply it. Then what do you call me? You call me a master. Any goalkeeper, you call that goalkeeper a master. Any player that will take shots on daily basis,
yes,
300, 200 consistently, you multiply it in a week, in a month, you call such a player a master. Wow. So when you are a master and you are called on the stage, come and repeat that thing you normally do, tell me, you go majestically with confidence to do it. And that was what I was saying. Yeah. So when it was time for me to play my penalty, in fact, the area was going to look at the penalty. I was watching the goalkeeper to find out if I would see strength in diving to a particular side, right or left. But I just noticed that he's so good that he can go to any side quickly. So I said, okay, till I get there.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
I picked up the ball and I got there and I did it. And as God will have it, if a master misses, then that day is his bad day.
Yeah.
He misses it. But he scores. So that's it. So that is the match I would, for me, say yes. That was my breaking point.
Wow.
Did it change anything for you? Where were you playing there for your club football?
Then I just got a contract with Lokeren.
Okay, in Belgium.
Belgium.
Okay. So did they change your, stance among your club teammates? Did they change your profile after that tournament?
Yes, indeed. It changed me. It made me more secured. It made me more comfortable, and I had believed in the career. It also gave me, because penalty shootouts, it's something I don't want to tell you what it is like.
Watching, we are suffering. So I can imagine you guys participating in it. It's worse.
Because penalty shootout, imagine you are going to play penalty. Imagine your mom sells in a market where everybody knows her, that she is the one, that's her mom, that's your son, her son is playing.
Yeah.
And imagine the son going to put that ball down. And the son goes back
Wow.
And you see people watching the telly, you see children,
Wow.
parents holding their son and daughters, you see them panicking, that they will score, that they will score. You see such comments, you see such, harmonious moments of parents and people, friends watching from bars and different places. And all of a sudden, the player missed the ball.
Chai.
Oof. Imagine what the poor mother, who probably don't know much about football, and every other market women, you see, and when they call you the mother, that the way you will be frowning. You've not told me before about my son, the play ball. Today now, is that way you are coming to remind me that my son missed penalty or whatever.
Oh my God.
I don't know what they call it. Is it penalty or penalty? So these are things you think. So, and some of us, during this moment of penalty shootout, the legs are wobbling. The legs are wobbling. And what makes some players lose penalties is some of them, before they go to play the penalty, they have in mind to put it at the right side. And all of a sudden, before the penalty shootout, goalkeeper does something. And they now say in their mind they will change. That moment they now say they will change, most of them begin to shake. Most of them begin to shake. And that is where misses, comes from, sometimes. So it's not an easy act when it gets to penalty shootout.
I've only been involved in shootouts once because I played a bit.
Okay.
In school. And I remember when the coach said, who's going to play? I'm like, nah, I'm not interested. I said I wasn't going to play.
That's it.
Then what happened? The 5 people played and it was still a draw. So all of us had to play. I'd already taken off my boots.
Yeah.
So it got to my turn. Every other person had played, and the ref was like, "Where's your boots?" I said, "I've taken off my boots." "Are you gonna play barefooted?" I said, "Yes."
Crazy.
And I played barefooted. Yes, I scored, but I will never do that again. And this was just interdepartmental in school. Very, very. Now imagine the whole nation.
The whole world, really.
The whole world watching.
The whole world, really, indeed. The whole world, indeed, watching.
Wow. But that day, like I said, that day was amazing.
It was. I mean, we're still talking about it like it just happened. It didn't just happen.
And it doesn't end there. Don't end there because the individual that missed goes back. He goes into his room. He don't talk to nobody. But sometimes fans think, this player is going to party. The player in question that missed, I bet you, go and check him. He needs someone to console him. He needs someone. I think that reminds me to Zaka situation.
Oh yeah,
that's not,
of Arsenal, with the England team. So that is it's so it can demoralize and send a player off balance for as long as possible if that player is not strong and if that player is not lucky to have people around him to get him, to support him, to cheer him up, motivate him, console him or her at that time. It could be disastrous, really.
I'm glad you brought up Saka because when he scored in the Champions League, I think it was against Porto. It was with Henry and the crew at CBS, and something you said resonated because he said the same thing, that when he's sleeping at night, he already envisions where he's going to put the penalty. Now obviously the England thing happened 3 years ago. He's now 22 or 23, and now he knows he has he has his style, he has his structure. He doesn't change it. So it's like when I'm leaving my house, I know where I'm going to put it. When I get on the field, I know where I'm going to put it. And when I play one during the game, when I play one in a shootout, same thing. I know where I'm going to go. I don't change my mind. So I thought that was interesting that you said that.
Okay, let's go to the quick fires.
So this has been really, really, really fun. But we're going to move on to our last section and a really, really, really fun part of this interview, hopefully. So these are going to be quick fire questions.
Right.
So, sir, Don't think too much.
Okay.
Just shoot. We know you're a deep thinker,
I'm getting myself set.
Yeah, be like Peter Rufai and Saka. And just go. Okay. All right, so quick fire questions. Your favorite football club?
Barcelona.
Oh, nice. That's a good one.
Wow. That's good.
That's a good one. Do we have to react?
No. Let's keep going.
You're giving us topics to talk about next future episodes. Favorite goalkeeper of all time?
Wow. I'll go back. I still stay back home in Nigeria. I'll stand for Emmanuel Okala.
Okay. That's good. Bro.
That's interesting. Good.
The best save you ever made?
My best save, it's Morocco 88.
88, okay.
Black Belumi penalty.
Black Belumi penalty, all right. I know you're very big on nutrition and keeping yourself fit.
Yeah.
But what's your favorite Nigerian dish?
Yeah. Goosey soup and yam.
The real Nigerian.
Goosey soup and yam.
All right. If you could play any other position, what would it be?
Midfield.
Oh, wow.
Defensive, attacking?
Attacking midfield.
Attacking midfield.
Yeah.
Your coach role.
That's it. That's it. Yes.
If you could play this is the last one. If you could play any other sport, what would it be?
Any other sport. I would still love to be in football, but the word said any other sports.
Yes.
Any other sports will be sprinting, athletics.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
I love it.
Wow.
Because I run very well.
That's cool.
Very well. I can sprint.
So just to wrap this up, final question. So in terms of legacy, how do you hope to be remembered in football, in the history of football in Nigeria? Final question.
I'm looking at my support to upcoming youths in the area of youth development, working with the youth, because we have them in abundance.
Wow.
If we have them in abundance, where are the experienced masters? Why are they not looking to the direction of the youth? Why are we looking at the money elsewhere? What about the human being, the human? Developing the human capacity. So for me, it would be the support being with the youths of Nigeria in any aspect of development I could contribute, and creating a platform where I could look back tomorrow and say, yes, if I'm not there tomorrow, I know I have created a platform, and that led me to creating a school.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It's amazing that you didn't talk about sports. You didn't talk about football as something you want to be remembered for, but you want to be remembered for something more impactful.
Yes, I think through that football, through that school, we have academic, we have football.
Yeah.
Yes, it's all in one.
Wow.
Yes, it's all in one.
That's profound.
Yeah, it is.
That's profound. It says a lot about the men.
Yeah.
It says a lot about your character, and it says a lot about the discipline, which I think for me is the watchword in all the discussion we've had today.
Absolutely.
Right? For you to have the outstanding career that you've had, that mentality and that discipline has been top notch, and that's the key takeaway word for me. Right?
Yeah,
thank you.
For me, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'll say I can finally breathe because this man swore both of us to secrecy. About who our guest was going to be. One, we couldn't believe that you would do this. So thank you again and again and again and again.
Oh my God.
So we hope our audience really enjoyed this. We've really enjoyed it. We've enjoyed preparing for it. There was still a part of me that was like, he's not gonna show up. He's not gonna show up, but like I said, coming from the generation we come from, to us, you're not a man, you're not even a superstar, you're a myth. You're who everyone on the playground wants to be. So for us, I'm never going to get over this. But now I can go back and tell everyone that we met you and we talked to you, and we can't wait to get this out and for everyone to see.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you very much. So you've said it all, Akin. Thank you very much, MON, as I fondly call you. Dodo Mayana himself for gracing.
Dodo.
We never asked what that nickname means and where it came from.
That's a good one.
Will you indulge us and tell us
with how that nickname came about?
Dodo Mayana. If you remember, while I was telling you some story concerning the goalkeepers I learned from, or the goalkeepers who I was with, Peter Fregene, Emmanuel Okana, and the rest of them in camp. While in room with Peter Fregene, he calls me Dodo. And that generation of 1980, 81, 82, I joined the camp 81, So from that moment, I was lucky to fall into the hands of Peter Fregene, In fact, practically almost all of them. Every morning before training, you'll see me sitting in the front of Emmanuel Okala's door, waiting for him to open his door so that I can take his boot, hold it to enter the bus. Then I will go to Peter Fregene. I will go to Best Ogedengbe. I'll pack all their boots, so that I go to the bus. I sit. When they want to wear their boot, I bring it. I give it to them, it to them. After training, sometimes I want to go and meet them. They'll tell me, no problem. Their jersey has been put to laundry. I should not worry. I say, what about the boot? Let me clean it. They'll tell me, oh, no, Peter, don't worry. Thank you. So I keep on doing this all through my stay in the camp. So while doing it, Peter Fregene now start calling me Dodo. Because of the way he see I follow him up in his goalkeeping.
Okay.
So from that word Dodo, which he started calling me, we got to Portugal. We were in Portugal, training led by the Brazilian coach, Otto Gloria. Then, while the session was going on in 1982, we were training. Peter Fregene finished Best Ogedengbe, entered the goal, finished his own action and everything. Best Ogedengbe went out. Peter Fregene went in. Peter Fregene performed. There was one other goalkeeper. Then I went in. Now, during my own turn, we had about 30 balls lined out. So all the 30 balls was being shot to the goal by the coach, Brazilian coach. And I was attempting all these balls. So the fans loved the way I was going for the ball. And I was putting in practice then what I was seeing from Peter Fregene and Best Ogedengbe. I was putting those things in action because, ask me, who had been training me all this while? So it is those things I'm putting into practice. And the fans were loving it. And they said, when they blow the final whistle, they say, no, they were shouting. I was hearing that shout, but I didn't know that they were for me. So all of a sudden I had Dodo. They pointed to the crowd. And I turned. And I saw the people making hands like this, way, shouting. And then I did my hand this way, that tomorrow we have training. I was meant to understand that they were referring to, why did you guys stop? Why did you stop? Go on. So I did my hand. So they said, Amaya. And I said, Amaya Dodo. I said, Amaya. So they said, Dodo, Amaya. I said, yes, Amayana Dodo. So which means in Spanish, in Portuguese language, when you say Amayana is tomorrow. Dodo is something you will see tomorrow. Dodo, Amayana.
Tomorrow.
Amayana Dodo. So when you say, hello, Peter, fine, thank you. So fans now pick it up and they call me Dodo Mayana. I will respond, Mayana Dodo. There's a response to it. If you say Dodo Mayana, I will say Mayana Dodo. If you say Mayana Dodo, I will say Dodo Mayana.
Wow.
I'm glad you brought that up.
So fans even love the name than calling me Peter. Anywhere the fans, majority of them, when they see me, they just use the name Dodo Mayana. Mayana Dodo. And when you call me that name, I know you know me, Richo.
Right.
To sign off, we can say Dodo Mayana.
Mayana Dodo.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's
Thank you very much, guys. And this has been lovely. And we'll catch you up on the regional podcast next week. And thanks once again, Dodo Mayana and Akin. It's been a pleasure as usual.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys next week. Thank you.
Thank you.